Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I was right. Oh, yeah. Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. Oh, sorry, I just had to do that. When I say I am always right, you better freaking believe me. Now, obviously, I'm not always right, but the fact is that so many times, so many people get on my case saying, oh, that will never happen. And I'm just like, dude, all the details are right there. Now, obviously, the times that I've been wrong have been times when we just really haven't had enough information to go on. So, for example, I've been wrong about what quirks people would get for Miraculous, or not for Miraculous, for My Hero Academia. And I might actually be slightly wrong about what the quirks are, or what the powers are for the Miraculous. I'm actually starting, now that we've actually gotten the name for the Peacock Miraculous, or not the Peacock, the Chicken Miraculous, I actually think that I am a bit wrong about that, so it's not like changing the whether or not it's day or night, but instead having something to do with courage, which still does align with my theory. Basically, that the quirks or the powers that they have as people using the basically, if they use the Miraculous, they have the same powers that they had when they were akumatized. I've talked about this before, and I'm not going to get into all of that right now. But the point is that this video is less about that whole situation and more a breakdown of the new trailer. Or not the new trailer, the new intro, I guess. So, yeah, obviously, we're going to be talking more about all of the different people who are going to be using their Miraculouses very soon. But for right now, we need to talk about the latest, the stuff from the very beginning. So obviously, every single time that we get a new Miraculous intro, pretty much a few things stay the same. Marinette running, tripping, all that jazz, that always stays the same. There's been a slight change with Hawkmoth's intro, being that he is now Shadow Moth instead, which that makes sense. It actually makes a lot of sense that he would be now going as Shadow Moth instead of being Hawkmoth most of the time. So there's that. But really the only two things that have changed besides that is now getting to see the shadows of every single person who's going to have a Miraculous, as well as the pictures of every single major cast member. So I really want to talk about that. So first off, let's actually talk from the very bottom where it starts all the way up to the top. So first off, we get to see a picture of Luca, and honestly, that's not that surprising. I do have to say, though, it's kind of interesting that Luca is near the bottom, and he's only there for like a few frames. Like, even if you watch the intro on YouTube at the slowest possible speed, he's barely there long enough for you to even pause. So that kind of makes me wonder, why exactly are they doing that? Why is he considered so not important enough that he would be done like that? I don't know. There's a lot of things to that, and I'm kind of curious as to why. And it makes me wonder if perhaps something is going to happen in truth. And it's quite possible that Luca is no longer going to be involved because he might find out about the truth. I want to talk about that more when I actually do my truth plot video, but for right now, I'm going to say that there is a high possibility that something bad is going to happen with Luca. I also think that there's going to be something bad happening with Kagami, but we're not going to get into that right now either. So, yeah. Okay, so we've talked about that. Good. Alright, next up is Zoe. who is the new character that is going to be showing up in Queen Banana. And I want to talk about Queen Banana very much, and I'm going to be talking about that in a future video where I'm going to be dissecting the trailer that released with this the latest episode. But for right now, just know that Zoe looks to be like a very interesting character. I do also want to say that it's kind of interesting that her name is kind of written kind of weird. It's not a bad thing, but it's just kind of interesting that it's written differently than I was kind of expecting. I don't know. We'll get into that eventually, but we're not right now. So yeah, she's going to be the new Queen Bee, or I guess she's got a new name. I don't know exactly what the name is, but I'm going to talk about that when we are actually talking about Queen Banana, or Banana Queen, whatever it is. But do know that we will be talking about her. Next up, we see a picture of Kagami. Again, has another one of those pictures. It's kind of weird that so many characters are getting these just little pictures. And it seems like what it is it's characters outside of the class. The specific reason I make this observation is because of the fact that Luca, Kagami, and Mark all have these pictures, but no one else does. Everyone is kind of in a group or something. Only these four characters, including Zoe, are put outside of the class, which does lead me to wonder if maybe she's not actually going to be in the class, or maybe she is a transfer student who is now joining the class, so she still has a bit of she's divided from the rest of the group. I don't know. I think that could be really interesting. I absolutely do believe that she is a transfer student, but I'm not exactly certain from where. So, yeah, we'll talk about that later when we're actually going more in depth with her, because I'm going to talk a whole bunch about her in the future, especially when we get into the stuff about Queen Banana, or Banana Queen. I don't remember what it is. That's not the point. Anyways, so we get that. Next is Kagami, who is actually spelled with her hiragana, which I find kind of interesting. I was kind of thinking that when we saw Kagami, they might be doing something with some kanji, but now we actually know how her name is actually spelled, and they're using the hiragana in order to spell it. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting to me. I don't know. It's not the most interesting thing, but it's still a little bit interesting. Next up, we see the main group of girls, which that's pretty standard. It's actually kind of interesting, though, because Kagami is just slightly off to the side of the girls. But yeah, that picture has been remaining the same for a while. Basically, we all know that that's spoiling who's going to get what Miraculous is and all of that jazz. No one's shocked by this anymore. So yeah, we'll talk about that eventually, but that's just something to keep in mind. Then above that, we get to see a whole bunch of groups of the different boys, as well as Chloe and Sabrina. Basically, they're all into their specific groups. So, Nina with Adrian, Chloe and Sabrina, Max and Kim, Ivan and Milet. Wait, no. I don't remember who Ivan was with, but I know he was in there. Obviously, that should be showing in the background of this video, because if I actually thought about this and actually edited it properly, oh boy. Who knows if I actually did, though, so I look forward to that. Yay! Anyways, moving on. So, like I said, we talk about, so we see all that, and, but there is also two characters that I do want to specifically mention, Nathaniel and Mark. The two of them are, so basically, Nathaniel is in his new picture thing, but then Mark is in the similar picture as Kagami, Luca, and Zoe. So that's kind of interesting, and it kind of makes sense that they would actually put him together. But it does actually make an interesting point that he is the only one who is up near the top, which leads me to wonder if maybe he's actually going to be far more involved in the series going forward than other characters like I said, Luca, Kagami, and Zoe. I think Kagami and Zoe are going to be more involved than Luca, but we'll get into that in a future video. I don't want to get into all of that right now, but yeah, just some interesting food for thought. But now let's actually look at the last scene. The scene that has the most excitement for me because it frickin' proved me right. So, obviously, in this picture, we get to see a whole bunch of the different characters. I'm not exactly certain who we don't get to see, but basically we get to see shadows of every single person who holds a Miraculous except for Adrian, which actually does not surprise me. The fact is that with Adrian, he's basically the counterpart to Ladybug, and since Ladybug is up in front, I don't know, there's a lot to it, and I don't want to get into all of that right now, but yeah, there's some thoughts that I have about it, but I'm not going to get into all of that today. But it's not a bad thing, to say the least. Now, let's actually go around and talk about each character very briefly about who is actually there. So obviously for the first 5, we still see that everyone is there. Rena Rouge, it's the new Queen Bee, or Bee Miraculous holder. I keep forgetting what her name. I keep forgetting what her hero name is, but she's there. We still see Carapace, we still see Mayura, and we still see Hawkmoth, which I do have to say is kind of interesting that we still see Mayura, even though she's not going to be holding the Miraculous for much longer, or even at all. I don't know. There's no real information on whether or not she will be holding it, so there's that. But yeah, we see those 5. Now, around the edge, though, we get to see all but 2 of them. And I'm not exactly certain which one isn't being shown. It's either the dog or the chicken. Colors are kind of hard to see, and I'm kind of leaning more towards the fact that it's the dog Miraculous that's not being shown. But I could also see it being the rooster. But that's not a big deal because we already know that Mark is going to get the rooster and Sabrina is going to be getting the dog. That has been actually confirmed in another thing, so we're not going to worry about that. But we also don't see the Dragon Miraculous. Basically, 2 of these Miraculouses just so happen to be on the same sides as where Marinette is standing, and they're blocked by Marinette there. So it does kind of make me wonder if maybe some of these things are actually going to be changing before too long. Now, as for the rest of them, first off, let's talk about Bunnix. Bunnix, all we get to see is her umbrella, which does actually lead me to wonder if perhaps with this whole situation, instead of it being adult Bunnix, maybe it is Alex as a kid or as a teenager. And there's a lot to that, and I do want to talk more about it, but other people have also said it. Basically, at this point, Marinette needs someone to talk to about this whole situation, and she knows that eventually Alex is going to have to be the one who does know. So she's going to realize, you know what, maybe it is time. And lots of people have actually been talking about this, and I actually believe it too. So, yeah, I think that Alex is going to be getting the Buddy Miraculous very soon. So, yeah. But we obviously see a slight little image of Luca holding the Snake Miraculous, or with the Snake Miraculous. I should look at this picture as I'm talking about it. We get to see both Kim and Max with their specific Miraculouses that we've seen already in the past. But we also get to see someone in an orange Miraculous that looks like it has shorts. So I'm going to say that that is either the rooster or the dog. So it's kind of hard to say because we can't really see it. But yeah, that is one of those two. Off to the side, we get to see Mark. And the reason that I knew as soon as I saw this image that it was not Mark, it's Nathaniel. Holy crap, I cannot speak. Is because if you actually look right on the edge, I'm not certain. So it's over here, I believe. So if you look on the very tip, you can actually see what looks like a paintbrush. And that's how I knew instantly that is Nathaniel. That's not Mark. So, yeah. On top of the fact that the color scheme is obviously the goat Miraculous. So, yeah. On the other side, we get to see Pink being the pig, and that is obviously Rose, and you can tell by the models, actually, which is actually really interesting. All four of those you can tell by the models. But yeah, Pink, pig, is obviously Rose, then Milen being the mouse, multi-mouse, the Myotorax, whatever his name is, Ivan, and then obviously Julika at the very bottom, so as the tiger. So yeah, obviously we get to see all of that stuff, and it's really interesting, and I do want to talk more about it. But the point is, I was right, and you cannot deny that I'm always right now. I'm kidding. You can still deny. There are still times when I've been wrong. But the point is, I'm not wrong about this, and I'm so excited to talk more about it in the future. But anyways, guys, I think that's enough for today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. And of course, if you do have any thoughts or theories, please make sure to leave them down in the comments below. If you are going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment. And of course, if you do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our other channels, our social medias, and ways that you can support us financially, including our Patreon, which big thank you to our current patron, Sheeny, and the merch store, and the book. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!